Guess what?
What?
I still didn't make anything for the news.
News.
The News Bros News Network. B.N.N.
B.N.N.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Walter Gootkite. Goots. Damn, it sounded better before I said it.
Yep.
There's got to be a reporter out there that has a more Magooter-like name.
Yeah, there has to be, right?
I'll do that I will research.
Yeah, that I have no doubt that you'll research. But we are back with another installation of the news.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to keep you guys updated on all the stuff because we are chronically online and we always know what's going on. And the best part about this, every time that we drop a news episode, more news comes out the next day that is way more pertinent than the news that we covered the day before.
Yeah, without a doubt, something will happen today.
This is why we do it, actually, at this point. It's just a bit.
Yeah.
We just want more groundbreaking news.
So we do this in hopes that it will happen.
Exactly.
And it does every single time.
Well, let's not take too much time here.
Look, I don't want to waste any time.
Let's dive into it. And I'm starting with Summer House.
Okay.
Got two pieces of news for you from Summer House. The first one, incredibly funny.
What?
Bailee from Summer House. You may remember her from the first episode and half of the second episode, who totally did not have a boyfriend.
That's
totally
what she said.
Didn't have an AirTag in her luggage or anything about that she was borrowing from a friend that she was hooking up with or whatever she said. She's actually engaged now.
Good for you. Well done, Bailee. Well, I mean, you can look at it one of two ways, honestly, because her friend, Lexi, went on the show, thought she found love, got gaslit, and then the whole cast flipped on her at the reunion.
Yep.
Bailee left the show, actually found love. So it's like almost like you had two choices. It's like one of those pick your own adventure books. Do you stay on the show?
Yeah.
Or do you talk shit and get kicked off the show?
Yeah, I don't think, and I don't even know if the guy that she got engaged to is the guy that she was dating at the time. It's just really funny. It probably would have caused more problems in your relationship if you had stayed on the show and spent the entire time talking about how you don't have a boyfriend, but still had a boyfriend back in the city.
You think he saw that?
Probably.
He had to have, right?
Yeah.
What do you think he felt about
What happened with that show that you were supposed to be on? Oh, I don't know. I
canceled
it. Oh, do you want to watch it? Lexi's going to be on it. No, I don't want to. Somebody
Said no.
pointed it out at some point. Like, what the fuck?
It has to be the same guy, just
It has to be,
timeline-wise,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's an interesting series of events. But yeah, I think it's interesting, again, that Lexi went one way, Bailee went the other, unintentionally. I mean, Bailee talked shit and got caught talking shit, and they kicked her off.
Yep.
But it does show you what Bravo can do to relationships.
Yep. It gets a little dicey in there.
A little,
Especially at the summer house in a shared house with good-looking dudes that have no morals.
Zero.
Yeah, so that one was very funny. The other one kind of saw this coming, kind of didn't. Lindsay announced today that she's back.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, I know.
Full back.
Oh, full-time?
Well, she said it's going to look a little different because obviously she's a mom. She pretty much just kind of doubled down on what she said before. But all the people out there, us included, that were thinking there's something in the works with Paige and Lindsay in the city, or Lindsay joining.
Oh, that's what it means. Got it. That sucks.
So she is full-time back in Summer House, but obviously it's going to look a little different.
Well, that tells me that they must be restructuring a little bit then.
Yeah, I still believe that this is probably the last summer that it's going to look like Kyle, Amanda, Lindsay, Carl, West, and Jesse, I'm sure will be back. Not really sure. I guess Sierra's coming back because she did comment on the Instagram post and said, thank God. I'm not losing everybody.
That she's coming back.
So Sierra should be back as well. I don't know what they're going to do with the rest of it. I'm sure there's going to be some new faces, but I feel like for the old guard, if you will, the OGs, this is probably the last season that we're going to see them in that capacity.
I think what we're going to see is similar to what we've been seeing gradually over the last two seasons. This one especially, we've gotten more time in New York City.
Yeah.
I would guess that this season will be even more New York City, and then we might see that transition into a different show like Summer in the City or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But that's if that's the case, I think we all need to really take a second and think about what this means. If the show's changing, this will be your last like Summer House summer. And I know we all like to shit on the show sometimes. I know we all love this show sometimes. We may not have this show for much longer.
Yeah. Just appreciate what you have before it's gone, you know?
Exactly. You know, everyone clamoring that you don't want Kyle Cook on your screens. Well, that may be happening soon. And I think that she'll sing a different tune if the show's gone.
Yeah, and we've spent a lot of time figuring out what they should do with that cast, at least the main pieces of that cast. So we're not going to bore you with those details once again. But I do think that as far as Summer House goes, those people are going to move to something else in a different show on the network or whatever they're going to do. And we're going to have a much different looking Summer House filming next summer in 2026.
Do you think that they'll run it back with a new cast on Summer House?
Not a full new cast. I think that they're going to leave. Wait, do you mean
I'm talking like
this year?
3 years down the road.
Oh, 3 years? Yeah, I think they're going to continue Summer House.
That was what I was asking.
Yeah, they're going to just plug and play different people and like try to keep it so that there's some crossover. Like Kyle and Carl and Lindsay kind of showed people the ropes where you've got West and Jesse. They'll now be on for a couple years, I would imagine. Jesse probably longer than West because West is doing really well in his actual job.
Yeah.
So I feel like he could move on at some point, but Jesse seems like he's in it for the long run.
I could see that, but the thing there is, you know, the passing of the torch, if you will. You need somebody in the house that is a Kyle Cook.
Yeah.
And
there is no Kyle Cook.
We don't have
just
that.
Kyle Cook.
Yeah. Like you need somebody that, whether you love him or hate him, is kind of the centerpiece of the house. I don't, like, Jesse can't fucking do that.
No, I don't think so.
West probably doesn't want to do that.
Doesn't, yeah.
And, I mean, Sierra and the ladies could take, but I don't know.
I think Sierra's, I could see Sierra leaving after this season.
So could I.
How it goes without Paige there.
That's going to be really interesting to watch without her fellow bed bug.
It'll just be her and Amanda sitting in bed probably.
This next season, there's a lot.
Weird.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to watch this next season.
And the funny thing about Summer House is we don't really hear a whole lot about what's going on. You know, even the content creators or people on different shows or whatever it might be that go to those parties, they don't come back with stories. They probably have to sign NDAs when they go to the parties or whatever it might be. So it's pretty close-lipped, so we really won't know what it's going to look like until next year. And anybody who's leaving, any announcement that they're going to do, they won't do it until after the reunion.
Yeah, they start filming in like, what, 3 weeks, 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think it's 4th of July weekend. So it's going to be interesting. We're not going to really have any news to share about Summer House until after the season happens.
That is interesting.
Yeah.
What else we got on the docket there, champ?
Well, as everybody knows at this point, Kristen Doty gave birth to a beautiful girl named Kaya Lily Broderick.
Congratulations, Luke and Doty.
I am surprised it's not more of like that LA name. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I like Kaya as a name, Kaya Lily. Too. Good name. You know, it wasn't Flower or
Serene.
Serene. Serene's actually not a bad name. I don't know. There's some crazy names out there, especially in LA.
I thought Serene was a good LA name. And then you just say, I like that
Serene's
name.
pretty tame for
Rain. Drizzle.
Drizzle would be nuts.
There you go.
Drizzle would be nuts. I was thinking more, what are those Jesus sandals called?
Birkenstock.
Yeah, like
That's
Birkenstock. Yeah.
This is my daughter, Birkenstock.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, we call her Burke.
Yeah.
Actually, the Berkeley is, that's one of those. Anyway, so shout out to Luke and Kristen.
Yep, that's awesome.
Very happy for them.
It's very funny.
It seems like Kristen was pregnant for so fucking long.
I know. It's funny you say that, but the funniest part is, I don't think there's anything wrong in sharing this. Doty was going to come on the podcast, and she said, it just depends on when I go into labor because it could happen any day now.
Yeah.
And I reached out the other day before this news broke, and it's funny, this had to have been within like 24 hours.
Oh, yeah. I just realized that,
That's why this makes sense now, because I said, hey, Kristen, just wanted to reach out and see.
She responded to like a story too, like the day before. And she was like, yeah, I love this so much, blah, blah, blah. And that's when you reached out.
Yep. And was like, I just wanted to check in and see, what a good day for the podcast would be. And she hearted it.
and then never responded.
and then never said anything. I was like, oh shit.
And it was probably like the day before she went into labor.
We're like going into labor. Like, I don't fucking care. Just
she
like,
already did it on the way to the hospital.
yeah. So that makes more sense now because we were both like, I don't even know how to respond now.
Like we can't say anything.
There's nothing we can say
at this point.
Yeah,
There's nothing we can do.
We got to be cool. We got left on like.
Oh, that's the best. Oh yeah. So shout out them.
Yep.
A big thing that happened in the last week is that the Traitors season forecast was announced.
Yes, they were.
So I'm going to pull it up. You can pull it up as well. And we'll kind of work our way through this because it's very interesting. There's a lot of people on here that, quite frankly, I don't know because it's like Big Brother and Survivor people. But I have it in front of me. There's a couple of hot button names here. Obviously, some old housewives, some current housewives, and everything in between, really.
Well, we've got something near and dear to us. Mama Kelsey's going to be on the show.
Which makes zero sense, by the way. I
I'm
love her, but like...
Let me read
what are we
through them
doing?
all, and then we'll go through what we think. Natalie Anderson, who is from Survivor. Ian Terry, who is from Big Brother. Colton Underwood, The Bachelor. Right. Oh,
Yep.
Colton was on... That's right. And then he came out, and that's coming out Colton. Aha.
Yep.
Rob Sesternino.
It's a Survivor guy.
Okay. Dorinda is getting a return, which
Dorinda's
I'm thrilled.
is so fucking funny.
We needed her back. She has to have another
She
chance.
cried at the reunion, and they just said, all right.
I'm glad they're running it back with her.
I really hope she gets voted out first.
I do too.
Just for the bit.
It would be funny for the bit,
Be
but she
incredible.
deserves another shot.
She does.
Tiffany Mitchell, who was a Big Brother contestant. Let me see. Yamil Yam Yam Aracho. Sorry if I said that wrong. Survivor, Monet Exchange, RuPaul's Drag Race. Mark Ballas, who is Dancing with the Stars Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. Rinna's on it.
Rinna's on it.
Wow, I didn't know that. Portia. Candace.
Yep. The Triangle returns.
Eric Nam.
He's a
Singer-songwriter,
South Korean
TV
yeah.
personality. Mara Higgins, who is Love Island.
She was, since we're dipping into Love Island, she was on Love Island like years ago, but she was also the host of After Sun last year.
Okay, all right.
She got a lot of notoriety from that.
Johnny Weir.
Which we all remember from American Figure Skating.
Yep, there's a figure skater. Tara Lipinski, who is the 1998 Olympic champion figure skater as well. Ron Funches, sorry, I'm stoked about that one. I think Ron Funches is hilarious. So he's in that. Rob Roush.
He's Love Island last year.
He's the snake tamer.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I do know a couple things.
Yeah, some things.
Kristen Kish. Oh, fuck yeah. I love Kristen Kish. She's a chef. She's a great
Top chef, yeah.
Top chef, and yeah, hell yeah. She's awesome. Stephen Coletti.
He is
Laguna
from
Beach, One Tree Hill.
Yep. Here you go.
Oh, what the fuck?
You missed one housewife.
No, it's coming up at the bottom. Caroline Stanberry
There
right
she
here.
is, yeah.
And this
This is
dickhead,
the
Michael
worst.
fucking Rapaport.
This is the worst one.
I don't want to watch him on my
No,
screen.
he needs to go first. I take it back. Dorinda going first would be very funny. Rapaport needs to go.
Why is Rapaport on it?
He's got to go. I hate him.
He's the worst.
He is by far the worst. He is such a loser.
Not even just because I know he does like Watch What Happens Live and shit sometimes, and he usually sucks on
I
that.
understand why Andy likes him so much.
I don't get it, dude.
Yeah.
I do not understand it. And it's also, if you know him from like the sports world or comedy, all of those other things that he does, like
He hasn't done anything good since, what was the movie where he kidnapped the Celtic star, but it was like Damon Wayans?
oh my God.
That was the only thing that I ever saw that I was like, all right, Rapaport's not that bad. But then after that was years and years ago. And then he started popping back up into pop culture. I'm like, get this dude out of
He
here.
dated Phoebe in Friends.
Yeah.
I've seen him in a bunch of shit. I've seen him in some good movies where he's got like a little smaller role.
Yeah.
But he's just a walking douchebag. I don't want this guy on that show at all.
Nope.
It will be fun if he gets whacked early.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't like him. And if you go, that's pretty crazy considering his social media presence and stuff, because he does a lot of problematic shit.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's going to be a really interesting cast.
Who are you most excited for?
Oof, that's a tough one. Probably Rinna.
Rinna, I'm
I
curious.
think this fits her personality very well. Although we said that about Dorinda last year, and she didn't go further than.
But we didn't like.
But I think Rinna's like a little bit more with it and understands. Like I think she's going to do the research of how it works.
I think Dorinda will know how it works.
Dorinda now knows how it works. Yeah, but like that's going to be obvious when she's playing the other side. So I think weirdly Rinna, it fits her pretty well. Donna Kelsey just simply doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
I mean, it makes sense from a celebrity standpoint. Like she obviously was a huge name after the big run of the Chiefs into the Super Bowl, and you had New Heights taken off and all of that crazy shit that we saw. Jason Kelsey had a documentary made about him. That was awesome, by the way. But it makes sense to me just as far as...
Incredible that you made it through all of that without even mentioning Taylor Swift.
And the Taylor Swift of it all,
That's
obviously.
why
But that
she's
was
there.
part of the
That's
run.
why they got so big.
I agree. Trust me, I understand that she is the reason they got big. I'm not taking away from Taylor
The
Swift.
Jason Kelsey documentary before Taylor.
Because for me,
I know for you.
that's more important.
It is so fun.
Let me make this very clear. Let me make this so clear, so
my
crystal
God.
clear. I respect Taylor Swift and everything she's done. I understand she's the biggest star in the world. I'm in no way, shape, or form trying to take away credit from her before Swifties come after me.
Weirdly, I think Tom Cruise is the biggest star in the world.
Tom Cruise is a big piece of shit, too.
He is, but he makes great movies.
The movies are good.
This is just Mission Impossible brain because I saw that on Friday night.
This is what's happening now.
Every fucking movie that he makes, he has to start it off by thanking you to coming to the theater. He is like that. You saw it when we saw Top Gun.
Yep.
He does it. It's so funny to me. It's the best.
I don't like those.
No, but he personally, in real life, not a great dude.
Awful guy.
Makes great movies.
The movies are good. I'm not taking away from that.
But anyway,
Top Gun, that was my walkout in baseball.
Yep. Donna Kelsey just, you know what? It's one of those situations where they probably were like, oh yeah, this could be like fun. Let's reach out and see if she wants to do it. And she's like, yeah, sure. I'll go to Scotland. Seems fun. Maybe she likes the show. I could see her enjoying the show.
See her enjoying the show. I think that she hasn't been around reality TV stars very much.
Yeah,
it's
probably
going to be a bit of a culture shock for her. I will say this, though. Maybe it's the Dylan Efron effect, because when he came in, I was like, oh, I don't know about this guy.
Yeah.
And he was a fan favorite, and he did very well. He won. So I'm not counting out Mama Kelsey.
No, I won't count her out.
But it is an
It'll be interesting to see.
I'm happy to get Candace back. I think this is a good role for her as well. I think she'll be fun on the show. I actually like the housewives they picked. Stanberry.
I really like the housewives that they picked.
Yeah.
I think this is a really good
It's a strong Bravo
crop
cast.
of the Bravo cast. They really leaned in heavy to the housewives.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people were saying, people like Sierra was on it last year and she did pretty well. She was all
did
over
all
the
right,
place.
yeah.
She did all right. They wanted somebody like Paige on there, or Madison. Now Madison's pregnant right now, and she's having a baby once again, just like Dodie. Any day now. So yeah, I think Madison probably would have played. But you got to just use the housewives. They're used to this. They're used to being conniving. They know how to do it. We watched it last year. Maybe everybody collectively can learn from Dorinda's mistakes.
I would hope so.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how it goes. It's an interesting cast. Aside from Rapaport,
sucks. That sucks.
That's a rough one.
I like that we have some Olympic athletes in there. I think that's a funny dynamic to have.
Absolutely.
And what else? Let me roll through it one more time.
I think you hit them all.
I did hit them all. Portia. We didn't talk about Portia. I think Portia's going to be really good.
Yeah,
I'm excited
Portia
to
will be
have her
great.
on here. As long as she shows
As long as
up.
she buys into it.
That's my point. If we get the phoned in stuff that we watched this season of Atlanta, I'm not thrilled. And Ron Funches is a good one.
Ron Funches is a really good one.
That'll be fun.
And Rob from Love Island is a great one too.
Yeah, I'm
It's gonna be funny
thrilled.
with him and Mara Higgins there, because they're gonna be like, do we have to hook up, or what do we do? If we're traitors, do we make out in the turret, or
kiss? Kiss.
I'm not used to not having cameras on us at all times. I'm used to not having my phone, but whatever. So yeah, I don't know when that comes out. That comes out in the winter.
The Winter, yep.
Fall, winter.
Comes out in the
somewhere?
winter.
Winter. Everybody knows the winter.
I'm stoked for it. I loved last season,
Yeah.
and people said last season was kind of a down one too.
Yeah. So hopefully this one returns to form. Even
They
though I
have
agree
the
with you.
cast for it this time.
Absolutely.
This cast makes a lot of sense of all the people I know, and even with a Michael Rapaport,
Yeah.
is he a big pile of shit? Yes. Does he physically actually look like a pile of shit? Yes, he does.
Yes.
But it's kind of fun to have people like that on the show because you just root against them.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's also a douche, so he's gonna fuck shit up in the house.
Yeah, hopefully everybody just clocks him immediately and hates him.
Interesting.
Now, if you listen to our Miami episode, Steele and I, we sort of glossed over the AC stuff with Jody, I would say.
Yeah, we didn't lean into that too hard.
We didn't spend too much time on that.
We didn't name the episode that.
Lisa responded to what's going on with everybody online, claiming that Jody was going to his room so that he could allegedly do some AC.
Do some AC.
Do some AC. Somebody actually put in our comments somewhere that, oh shit, now I forget what it was, but AC stood for something, and it was like, oh, it was awesome cocaine or something.
What I was about to say, what, awesome cocaine?
It's like, yeah, maybe. I don't fucking know. But Lisa responded because a lot of people were talking about it, and she left a comment on somebody's profile saying this. I can't believe I have to address such ridiculous rumors, but last night's Miami episode was a gross misrepresentation of what actually happened and manipulated editing. Not really sure what that sounds
We're blaming the editing.
Yep. Jody and our non-cast friends were hanging out in our primary suite and lounge area, which we use as a common space with friends and family. They were not crowded in some solitary bathroom. We never said they were in the bathroom.
Nobody said that was happening. It was a bedroom.
Our friends did not want to be filmed, so they sought out privacy in our hangout spot. Any implication beyond that is completely false and upsetting, and for the record, AC equals air conditioning. Thank you. Something essential in Miami. Okay.
Well, thank you for dumbing it down for us to understand what air conditioning is and why it's important in Miami. But
did you see Jody's comment?
Oh, God. What was it? Wait, no, I did. The first thing, I hate when people do this. He wrote sigh, right?
Sigh.
Ugh.
I live in Miami and I'm a grown man. If I were doing that, who cares? Okay, so you probably were doing that.
Which is, again, like that's the correct approach. Yeah. Because first and foremost, like, oh, breaking news, people on reality TV do cocaine sometimes. What? Yeah. No way. Breaking news, wealthy people in Miami, when they party, do cocaine. It's like, yeah. We just assume that that's happening. So when you try to clarify that it's not, that just makes me think even more that it's happening.
He specifies exactly what pretty much what Lisa meant by editing, which we didn't really need any of that anyway. But the first paragraph makes no sense. Like, you're just leading into this. And again, like, we don't really give a shit what you're doing.
I could care less.
It's just funny. So he said, if I were doing that, who cares? It's probably a safe assumption that 50% of Miami does. Okay.
So that means either with that logic, either him or Lisa does cocaine.
Correct. It just happens that I'm a fitness fanatic that barely even drinks. The reality is simpler. I don't like being on camera, but I'm dating a reality star. I love her, and that's my life. Blah, 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 blah. Production already said that the scene wasn't meant to imply that, and that it was added just to explain why I wasn't in the room during the argument.
Right.
Sure. Bravo. Yeah, I'm not a cast member. I have a daughter. I didn't know we had a daughter.
I didn't either.
That's news to me. So I think the drama should be centered around those that want to be there, and simply, I do not want to be there. I added that last part myself, but that's pretty much what he said. So, like, there's an adage that I can't remember, but why are you shining a light on this?
I don't know.
By commenting, it's going to get worse.
Yeah, just leave it alone.
If you left it alone, we would forget about it. But now Steele and I would make jokes about AC, maybe
for the next couple
three
years.
More episodes. It could last all season, but that's just us. We're idiots.
Yeah, what do you want?
We get fixated. What do you want from us? So, by breathing life into it, you guys are stupid. Bad move.
You literally just made this go on for much longer.
Yeah.
And the two explanations are not good.
No.
Because they also contradict each other. On one hand, Jody's more or less saying like, everyone's doing blow.
Everybody does it.
Not me. But like other people do it. It just doesn't make sense. And Lisa's saying like, "Oh, we have the lounge in the bedroom." It's like
Lisa went too specific. Completely denied it.
And then told
Jody
us what AC
left
means.
the door open. He went through like 3 paragraphs of talking about it, and never really said that he doesn't do it. Which again, we wouldn't care. It's just a funny moment that we would make jokes about and move on with our life.
We're also not saying that he did it.
Yeah.
For, I guess, legal things.
Yeah, no, we're not.
But at the same time.
It's just a weird way to go about that.
And you know what? If you're walking around, I've been to parties where people do this stuff, and they all act the same way when they're trying to get together to go do it.
Yeah.
they're like, they think they're being subtle, but they keep mentioning something. Like, hey, you want to go check that out? And they're always like, they're making eye contact across the room.
Yep.
That's what him and his boys did.
So like Charlie and Mac and Always Sunny.
Exactly.
Staring at each other from across the room.
Like, is it time yet? And like all of the guys there were like, AC room, AC, bedroom, AC.
Like, get the fuck out of here.
Can we go do this now?
When you talk about how they're non-cast members and they don't really want to be filmed, they're not.
No.
We are not looking in the background unless it's old VPR and I'm looking for Valley cast
I couldn't
members.
tell you any of the people that went in that
That's
room.
the only time that I no idea. I don't know what they look like. I know what Jody looks like because he's on the show. Anybody they went into the room with, I didn't see their face and I don't really give a shit. But now you're calling you're calling it out. So like we're obviously going to take a closer look. They're not on camera.
He also didn't do himself any favors with I'm into fitness. I don't drink a lot, but you were drinking that night.
Yeah.
Did you need something to pick you up a little bit?
Yeah. Make your coffee, bro. Maybe there's a coffee machine in there. Who knows? But we'll leave the AC for another day. Don't you worry.
Yeah, put that AC back in the bag.
There's plenty of AC to go around. Don't worry. It'll last us all
It's
season.
Miami.
It's Miami.
Everyone's doing AC.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck out of here.
One final thing, which is sort of like an anecdote, actually, because we did our Love Island episode yesterday talking about episodes 9, 10, and 11, I believe, or whatever. I don't remember. And Paige DeSorbo was featured on the latest episode of Love Island, which was episode 12 in the woodchuck contest.
For half of a scene.
For a half of a scene, and there was a lot of speculation, which some of it still is true, but we had thought that Hannah got hurt on the log thing.
That is true.
Which is true. It looked like Charlie also got hurt. He had a cut on his face. So that was a terrible idea. And we just kind of ran to the point of they had to reshoot. Paige had to leave. Not what happened. Paige went on Giggly Squad today, which I listened to the part of. I don't listen to the whole podcast, but I listened to the part of her explaining what happened. One, she had that full suede outfit on at Fiji, which it was probably like 90 degrees. We've seen these guys just...
With 200% humidity.
Yeah, so we've seen these people, they're wearing bathing suits all day out of necessity for the most part because they don't want to get too hot. Paige went into that saying she had no idea what she was going to wear. She was going back and forth asking a bunch of people what looks best because she knows with Love Island, with Ariana, the way that she shows up, you got to show up with your best style. And she said like 2 or 3 days before she left, the producers called her and said, hey, little change. We're actually doing a lumberjack theme. So if you have anything that matches that, that would be great.
That was her lumberjack theme.
That's the only thing that she had.
That was lumberjacky.
Pulls it out because I guess it was like, and I'm colorblind, but I think it was brown suede.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So she pulls that dress out.
Nice. Good for you.
It was context clues, brown
for
wood. It was 50-50 between green and brown. But she pulls that out, sends a picture to the producers. They say, that's great. That works perfectly. She didn't really think anything through, and it was obviously hot as shit. They were there for 5 hours filming this one little game that we watched for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes tops.
Yeah.
She was there for 5 hours. She said there were still 4 guys left. There's only 7 guys at this, or I guess there was 8. So we're halfway through. She throws up behind the woodshed.
Oh, yeah.
Comes back, starts to feel a little bit better, then gets woozy again and goes and sits and says, I need a little break. Goes and sits in the shed where everybody's making out.
I would imagine it's hot in there.
It's hot as balls in there, but she just needed to get out of the sun. People were coming over and like shading her from the sun. She goes in there. She just kind of like feels woozy again and completely passes out from heat exhaustion.
All right.
Gets back up, tries to go again.
Wow. What a
And
trooper.
then she was a real trooper. And then tells the producers, I don't think I can do this anymore. So they just let her go. So she's actually still down in Fiji because she did the Giggly Squad podcast from Fiji.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
She's going to be on After Sun on Saturday.
Oh, so a little redemption.
So a little redemption. She's probably going to tell this whole story on After Sun for everybody who didn't listen. And
You heard it first here.
You heard it from us, so that's what matters. We had said, a lot of different things, but that's the real story. So
There you go.
now we do know, because everybody was really confused about why she just
It
disappeared.
was confusing
It's very odd.
optic-wise.
Yeah.
But let's do one more thing.
Oh.
Because it's
Surprise.
Love Island-centric.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise. It's Love Island-centric. And you brought this up earlier.
Okay.
So rumor has it that a certain bombshell that has recently left the villa still hasn't gotten use of his cell phone.
Yeah.
So for those of you that are our fellow Love Islanders, Charlie obviously got whacked last night or 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Which was very sad. Him and Hannah finally got their thing going, and then he's out of there. So I guess his mom...
So this is a new thing.
Yeah, this is brand new.
It does happen from here, like time and time again, depending on the castmate, but a lot of friends and family have taken over the social media accounts for these people to like post different things. So you can actually...
mom is talking shit on Taylor.
Landry's mom's on Facebook talking shit on Taylor. It's great. She said that boy needs some breast milk. That was really fucking funny.
Leave him alone. He's just
feels
skinny.
really upset about that still. But it looks like parents, siblings, friends are just kind of taking over these accounts and putting them out there. And supposedly, Charlie's family is saying that he still hasn't gotten his phone back. He's been gone since Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
It is now Tuesday. So a lot of people are reading into that. Maybe he's coming back for Casa Amor, which would be, I think they said it was like episode 19 last year. We're on like 13 or 14. So next week at some point is when Casa Amor would happen. And that's like a 4 or 5 episode stretch there. So it'll get very interesting. Everybody thinks that he's going to stay and go do that. I think he might just do what Beldasha did and just be there until after sun.
After sun.
And then they'll talk and whatever, and then he'll go home. I don't think
Wouldn't you get your phone back if you're just going on after sun?
No.
What do you mean no?
They just don't give them their phones back.
That doesn't make sense.
I know. Yeah, it's
I don't
bizarre.
believe you.
These people don't get paid. You know that, right?
What?
Yeah, these people on the show, they're not paid. You can win money at the end, but you don't get paid for anything.
That just made so much more make sense of people saying like, oh, they're doing this for their career, this and that. I'm like, I could see that being like,
yeah, you don't get paid to be on this show unless you win.
Wow.
Yeah, now you get sponsorships and all that shit.
Well,
but yeah, no.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. They really do need to open it up to...
They basically sign their lives away when they go on
need to Hunger
show.
Games it then.
I
agree. We can send them, like we can sponsor somebody and send them things.
Yeah, you're going to have a field day. So there's a tweet night.
Tweet night.
Where they show all the tweets that people are talking about.
I need to start tweeting.
So now we're the situation that we're in with Huda, where she's not sure if America hates her or they're just trying to tell her and get her away from Jeremiah.
Got to be very clear.
She's
going to have a tough night.
Yeah, she's going to have a tough night for that one.
Bad.
So, yeah, we'll talk way more about this because we're going to record Love Island tomorrow for the next 2 episodes, which we still haven't watched Tuesday nights. But, yeah, I started to feel a little bad last night.
She's going to see a lot.
I mean, don't get me wrong, she's still nuts and, like, very manipulative and, you know, all the things that we said before. And it got worse, but now it's like, it's not fun crash out necessarily.
No, it was
a scary
crash out. Uncomfy to watch that crash out.
Points where I was still laughing, and I'm like, she's just fucking nuts. Like, this is...
And there's other points where I'm like, she's not...
Yeah, so...
this is tough. Yeah, that's going to be... But, to the original point, we may get a resurrection of Charlie unless... We'll find out if he's on After Sun. That'll change some of this, but just keep your eye out.
Yep.
Because Charlie may return.
He may return. He may come back. Just keep him there for a couple more days.
Am I going to name this episode Charlie Returns? ? So that I can get some clickbait? You're goddamn right I am.
Oh, God. Well, that's all the news for the week. And as we know, more news will come out tomorrow.
Yep. As you're listening to this, something major is going to happen.
Yeah.
It happens literally every week.
Yep.
So, yeah. But other than that, you got anything else?
Nope.
That's our show. Bros gotta go.